Members, there were a number of, as you all remember, there were a number of provisions from last year's bonding bill back in October that had some language issues with them and that MMB has flagged, and the bonds won't be sold unless we make some corrections to the language. There's no new money in the bill we're about to consider. But I think I introduced this bill yesterday. I gave the House jackets to the House bonding chair. I'm hoping that he'll get them introduced. It's pretty important we get this done, or many of these projects are going to lose a construction season. So I'd like to move this bill up to the floor today, and I'm hopeful that the House will act on it. We'll save some time that way. We'll save a day versus it coming over and coming down to our committee. So we'll be able to catch the House file on the floor when it comes over, hopefully. What's in this bill are 44 provisions. If you've looked at the summary, it is, for the most part, the contents of Senate File 287 that we passed back on May 13th. We passed it out of committee up to the floor. And then, of course, because session adjourned, we never took it up, it died. So this is resurrecting that bill with those technical provisions in it. In addition, there are some other provisions that weren't in that bill in May. One of them, and I think I mentioned to everybody, there were some issues with the Vision Northland project up in Duluth. The House had carried some language for that project. There's no new money in that. They're just moving some allocations around for the project. The city and Essentia Health were negotiating on what those pieces would look like. They have come to an agreement on that. So we've included that in here. So that's new. You'll see that in, I think it's right away in section 1 in the bill. So that wasn't in the earlier bill. Then there's a number of smaller provisions that were only in the House bill. They weren't in our Senate File 287. We have made a decision to take those House provisions. There's nothing wrong with them. We just didn't have them included. And then I do have one amendment, and I think maybe I'll turn the gavel over to Senator Jasinski so that I can move my amendment on Senate File 39. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Bakk moves what's the amendment? I'm sorry, I don't have the A1, or is it?
Mr. Chairman, the amendment is the A1 amendment to Senate File 39. And I'll move that, and then I'll just explain. We've got a situation that came to us. Senator Benson brought me this. They were trying to carry a provision up in the HHS budget bill, and it's up in Isanti County. It's a piece of state property, formerly a corrections facility that hasn't been used for a number of years, and Isanti County would like to repurpose the building, but they don't own it. So the state is willing to convey the building to Isanti County so that they can repurpose it. But it needs to be in a bonding bill because the project had, the state building was built with state bonds. So we need to carry it in this bill. The other thing in this amendment is there's a small correction that council caught on the Norway House project that's in the bill. It's just some different wording on making the bonds available until 2026, but it's nothing new, just a technical change that council caught. So, Mr. Chairman, that's the extent of the A1 amendment, and I move its adoption.
Senator Bakk moves the A1 amendment. If we can turn their camera on. All those in favor with a thumbs up say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. The A1 amendment is adopted. Senator Bakk, to your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I guess we've all seen these provisions for a long time. You remember we passed a number of them way back in December to try and make some of these corrections, and have been hoping to move them along all session. The House, for some reason, still seems to be reluctant to move this revisions bill. I'm just a little bit worried that even though Speaker Hortman and Majority Leader Gazelka have agreed we should do a bonding bill, I don't think they've reached that agreement with the minority leader in the House. So I'm not sure that it's going to happen over there, even though the leaders have agreed. So I'm hoping, and I do believe the leaders have agreed we should do this revisions bill, but what they didn't apparently nail down was, was it going to carry by itself, or was it going to be included in something else? So this is my effort to move it up to the floor and encourage the House to take this up so that it doesn't somehow get lost in these final days of this special session. So if anybody has any questions on the provisions, I believe we have Senate Counsel on the Zoom meeting, so we can refer them to Stephanie.
Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Bakk. Long awaited to have this bill done. I had two questions. I just saw the bill right now, and so I haven't had a chance to thoroughly look it over. And just with a quick glance and looking at my past notes, I'm missing two provisions. And I had on my list, there was a Dakota County Inver Grove Heights local road improvement modification. It was Senate File 2052. It was Senator Klein's bill. And so I'm just kind of, I don't have it in front of me, but I wanted us to look at that as something that maybe was missed. And also there was a modification to the skateboard parks bill. We talked about that before. They certainly can use the money. It was a very small appropriation, $250,000. They don't need all that money for planning. They can move ahead. I imagine they're not very expensive to do skate parks. They can move ahead and do perhaps design. So that was the language. Again, I don't have it in front of me, but I know I brought that up with you previously.
Well, Senator Pappas, the skateboard provision should be in this bill. Maybe I can have council walk through that. I believe the other one, I don't think was either in the House or Senate bill, but maybe we can have Ms. James speak to it.
Ms. James, go ahead.
Mr. Chair and members, both of those provisions are in the bill, Senator Pappas. The skate parks are in section 21, which is on line 21. And the other one,
Thank you.
And the Inver Grove Heights is in section 7.
Section 7. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Other
It says Swift County, so that didn't make sense to me.
Well, we tried to pick everything up that was out in the universe. So if you missed something, that's a revision somehow. I'm certainly open to amending it on the floor if somebody finds something. So my intent is to try to pick everything up.
Can I ask a question of Ms. James?
Yep, Senator Pappas, follow up. Go ahead, Ms.
Thank
James.
you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. James, section 7, you said it says local road improvement fund grants, but it refers to a road project in Swift County. And the one I'm talking about would be in Dakota County. So is it more than one county, perhaps?
Ms. James?
Or it's section 11.
Oh, section 11. Yes, sorry. I gave you the wrong section. Section 11.
Okay. All right. I see Dakota County there. All right. Thanks.
All right, we got Senator Pappas's issues taken care of. Anybody else have any questions or issues? I'm seeing none. Senator Bakk, any final comments on your bill?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'd move that Senate File number 39 as amended be recommended to pass.
Senator Bakk moves Senate File 39 as amended be passed and sent to general orders, I believe. Senator Pappas.
Thank you. I did have one more question. We're moving so quickly, and that is Senator Bakk, since this is a bonding bill and this is a Senate file, so doesn't this have to be a House file, or what is your intention here?
Senator Bakk.
My intent, Senator Pappas, is not to pass it on the Senate floor. My intent is to get it up to the Senate floor, so then when the House file comes over, we can take it up. If we don't pass it up to the floor, when the House file comes over, it'll the bill would go to where the Senate companion is, which is in the committee. So it's just in the sake of time, we would avoid having to have a committee hearing on the House language and then move the bill later up to the floor. The things are going to be, I think, pretty busy in the end here. So I just don't want to take a chance that the House sends it over, and under the rules, it goes to where the Senate file is, and it ends up down in our committee. And then
we'd have to have another meeting. Yeah.
Right. Have to have another meeting. So just in the interest of time, but it needs to be a House file constitutionally.
Right. So, Mr. Chairman and Senator Bakk, the intention would be then that we've already approved this language. So this language then could be adopted on the floor as an amendment to a House file.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Senator Bakk renews his motion. All those in favor signify and with a thumbs up say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. The bill is adopted. Senator Bakk, I'll give the gavel back to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the House has the gavel for a meeting this afternoon with the chairs, the minority leads, and the vice chairs, I believe, and then our staff to start working on a $500 million bill. So all four caucuses have provided a spreadsheet. I just want to get everybody in the loop. And we're going to sit down this afternoon and see where we have some common ground and if we can make some headway on a $500 million bill. It's a little strange that the House, for some reason, when they organized, did not reconstitute a committee on capital investment. So they don't have a committee in the House. So anything that they do as a committee can only be as a working group, because they can't take any action. It's not an official committee. So anything they do will have to be done in Ways and Means rather than in their capital investment committee. Not sure why they decided to do that. You all know in the Senate, we reconstituted a Rules Committee, Tax Committee, Capital Investment, and Finance. The House, for some reason, decided not to do that. So we've got a committee for this special session, and if we have any other business, specifically a larger bill, hopefully, we'll be getting together to deal with that. And I really, if you could encourage your House colleagues to get this revisions bill out of the way. It is going to get awful busy around here from everything I hear with I saw in the press today, Speaker Hortman said that she thought that the minority in the House was not going to be very cooperative on moving these budget bills. That means it's going to get awful busy and the hours are going to get awful long over on the House side. And I just don't want this to somehow get lost. So if there is a way to encourage your House colleagues to try and get this over the finish line. I talked with Senator Gazelka this morning and I encouraged him and the Speaker were having a meeting later this morning, encouraged him to, they both agree they're going to pass this, but for some reason we're not getting there. And I personally have talked to the minority leader in the House. He is supportive and will put votes up to pass this revisions bill. Not as sure about a larger bill of 500 million. And if this gets rolled into something bigger that he doesn't support, we're just not going to get it done. So if anybody has any influence over on the House side, we could sure use your help trying to move this along. But that's all I have. Stay tuned. We've got a committee. When we got some work to do, some kind of breakthrough with the House, and we'll try to provide you some email updates on how the conversations with the House are going, assuming, we probably got 2 weeks left here. It's starting to look like to me. So that's all I have. Does anybody has questions?
I did have one question, Senator Bakk.
Sure.
In terms of interim activities, I know there's a lot on the plate right now, but you're also planning ahead for 2022. Is there any tentative dates yet that you're looking at for tours? Well,
we won't have the list from MMB of all of the universe of bonding projects that have been submitted until July 15th. But once we see that, we will get out I do want to get one. You're going to be disappointed in this, but I want to get one out of the way in mid to late August if we can. We'll probably do the Northwest because that's the furthest away. And then my hope is to do one in September, one in October, and probably late November, one each month. And then we'll leave the Twin City tours for last because we don't have to worry about travel conditions like we do out in the rural areas of the state. So I'm assuming we'll do one for sure, probably two in the metro area, probably right after the first of the year.
Thank you.
Anybody, anything else? Okay, if not, thanks everybody for taking the time. This committee is adjourned.